I would like to ask each of the growers here, just really succinctly. We have a number of people here who think they might want to get into farming in some way. And so going back 2 years, going back 5 years, going back 20 years, really, what do you wish somebody had told you before you started farming?
It's not all dealing with plants and being outdoors in the sunshine. You have to put on several different hats. Mid-season, I find that all of our time is spent harvesting, washing, packing, and going to market. It's not as romantic as it feels in June. So just know how much of your time is spent on marketing. That's huge. So I wish someone would have mentioned that in the beginning.
I agree. I think it's the business aspect that you fall short on. I mean, you love growing plants, you like being outside, but the business part is so far off the radar. But if you want to succeed, even on a part-time basis, that really has to be right there along with the growing aspect. And if you don't do that, you kind of just fall by the wayside, because the bottom line is you have to make enough money to cover your costs and put a few bucks in your pocket, because it's a lot of hard work, and if you're not being paid a decent amount of work, it just isn't worth it.
Well, this past October, when it was 40 degrees, the second week of October, I sold that Wednesday night, and I was standing in the rain, and it was in the high 30s, low 40s, and I was trying to salvage some basil, and that was the moment I realized that I wasn't a gardener and I was a farmer. So I was like, if this was for me, I would have just gone out, picked up the good leaves, and just walked right back in the house. So that's something I wish, you know, the people, that's probably good to know before you get into farming, that because you're selling it as a commercial product, you have to be a little bit more attentive, a little more on top of things. It's not just like, oh, tomato plants are done, okay, I'll let them go. You know, you have to be there watering, you have to be on top of the plants and the crops and everything else. I also wanted to add on to what Peter said about the backyard marketing or the backyard gardening and starting it as a market farm, which is certainly where I am. One huge benefit to that, I think, is that you can try it on for a year or two without taking on a mortgage for new land, without putting down a down payment. So if you try it on and you sell $1,000 worth of produce and decide it's not for you, then you haven't put yourself out a lot financially. So it's worked well for me for the past year and a half or so, and I would definitely recommend it if you are able to.
Morgan or Darwin, do you have anything to add to that? I mean, you see a lot of people coming through your organizations with the Market Gardener Training Program and the Exploring the Small Farm Dream and some of the other programs that you do. You know, what are most people not really thinking about that's going to come back and bite them when considering starting an agricultural enterprise? In about a minute apiece.
Well, you know, basically the same things that everybody's talked about. You know, a lot of it is about not dealing with the business aspect of it. You know, they get into it because they really feel like they like to work outside, they like to work with animals, they like to work with garden plants and so on. And the fact is, you know, you're addressing two things. You're addressing a life, a lifestyle, but you're also addressing livelihood. Livelihood is a subset of life, but farmers that go broke aren't sustainable, don't you know? And I just think that it's really important to recognize that the people that are going to get into it for all the various reasons can put that together in hundreds and hundreds of ways. And they can decide to get into market gardening or farming, same difference to me, and decide to do it because they enjoy it, but it's going to give them an extra $5,000 or $10,000 or $30,000 or $40,000, and they can decide whether they want that to supplement their other income or their other income to supplement their farming. Either way, all those things are options. And that's the kind of agriculture I think that we're going to see happening.
I guess I would just echo what Jessica was saying, because we were kind of talking when we were supposed to be networking. But, you know, I think you have to be, or strive to be good at a lot of different things, which I think is one of the interesting things about being involved as in an agricultural enterprise or being a farmer, is you have to be interested in production and figuring out how to make your systems produce the best vegetables, fruits, herbs, livestock. You have to figure out how to market it. You have to keep your books. You have to figure out how to interact with customers and keep them going back to your stand at the farmer's market. And as Jessica said, we were talking kind of about that urban shift of being an urban producer. You have to deal with neighbors. You have to deal with city departments and government agencies and bureaucracies. So I think, you know, having been a farmer myself, I was a herdsman for a livestock operation. That's one of the things that's exciting to me that I loved about it was I'm a generalist. I like a lot of different things, and I think farming speaks to that. Even if you're not good at some of those things, you need to want to learn more about that, because I think you need a lot of different facets to your operation. I guess, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that.